Welcome back. We're addressing earnings. Medi Assist is one of them which is in focus. It's a recent listing. Their third quarter revenue saw a healthy 32% jump. Total income also expanded. But expenses though surged, profit as a result of which has declined. Satish Gidugu, who's the CEO and whole-time director of the company, joins in now. Thanks a lot, Satish, for joining in. I just wanted your thoughts on a couple of things. One, from the revenue verticals that you have, which is group organizations as well as group retail and government, what is the kind of take rates or yields that you have on each of these verticals? And what was the composition in this quarter? How is it likely to be in the fourth quarter?
Well, thank you so much for having me here in the first place. Excited to have our first media interaction of our first ever earnings call. So thank you. Clearly, we continue to grow both organically and inorganically. And this was the first quarter where all of the revenues from Raksha, one of our largest material acquisitions, actually got consolidated, in this quarter. And hence you see the revenue surge. Clearly, like we said, in the past, that these acquisitions take us about 3 to 4 quarters to synergize. This was the first full quarter of integration, so you will see the synergies, coming back in. I mean, having said that, while the revenues have grown, at about 26.7%, the PATs year on year also have grown at a 14.5% from last year to current year. Our contribution. So coming back to your question on contributions, we have about 9.5% coming from the government, and about now nearly 6% from our international business that we had acquired about a year ago. The rest is group and retail, practically about a 80-20 split between group and retail. So that's our composition.
And what's the take rate differential?
Still, take rate is now very specific to each product insurer, depending on the kind of workload that we have. The take rates range anywhere from 2% to 5.5%. So what you see is a blend of the work that we do across the 27 insurers that we work with.
Okay. Satish, you said that your integration of the acquisitions that you made also aided revenue growth this time, but your margins have been lower than the previous averages that we've seen. It's always been in high double digits, around 25 to 26%. This time around, it has come in at 20%. What is the reason for that? Plus, going forward, will these acquisitions yield lower margins for you?
Thank you. So if you looked at our FY23 full year, we reported a 23.66% EBITDA margins and about a 14.7% on the PAT margins. So in H2, when we filed the RHP, we were at a 20.6 margins, with the 2 acquisitions impact. And despite Raksha having the first full quarter of consolidation, we held our margins through the quarter. And we see some of the synergies actually coming back into our margins right now. And our PATs continue to be close to 14%, about 13.8%. So I think we're comfortable with where we are, and the integration is proceeding along the expected lines.
So it'll be 20% margins going forward as well, is what you're saying?
It will take us typically 3 to 4 quarters to synergize. It was the first full quarter. So we hope that in the 3 to 4 quarters, we complete the full integration.
So 4 quarters later, we can see margins go back to that 23 to 24% or 25% band, right?
I can't necessarily tell you whether it's 23, 24, but we do get back to better margins as we complete the synergies, yes.
Okay, you said that this quarter the revenue was led, a lot of it was also led by complete consolidation of Raksha itself. So organically, what was the growth in the third quarter year on year? How much of that was led by, existing clients, and how much of that was led by new clients and higher premiums?
So it's a tricky business to answer that question, given that these are annual contracts. So many of the contracts have already moved across the entities, that we have. So it's a little difficult, for us to provide that split. But if you look at from a total premiums now, that we are serving, it has grown to almost 14,000 crores, which is, almost 20% of the group of the retail industries. And given the consolidation effect, not all of the revenues are also flowing into the market, right?
Okay, all right. Satish, we would love to chat a little more, but we'll wrap on this note. M&M's number